Not a big shocker here. Seattle mayor moves to toughen nuisance law, targeting properties instead of criminals. And these properties are accused of attracting crime. Go after the property, not the criminals running around shooting each other. Don't go after them. We can't have that. And we got to let these criminals roam the street. Yeah, we need to shut down the businesses. We need to target the properties that these criminals are gathering at and doing all their illegal activity, because it's the property's fault, not the criminals. Does this make any sense at all? No. Let's get into it. Here we go. We've got this hookah lounge in Rainier Beach area. Not quite South Seattle, but ish. Amazing basketball players that come out of Rainier Beach. You got Jamal Crawford. You got Doug Christie. You've got Nate the Great, NBA dunk champion, under 6 feet tall. I mean, but they've also got some real criminal activity. Let's watch a little video. Footage shows hookah lounge shooting that left 2 people dead. This was March. You've had multiple shootings, stabbings, you name it. This is the kind of property that they're targeting. Targeting the property, not the individuals, bringing the criminality to it. Here we go.
Commotion and chaos in the middle of the night. This video from March 30 shows one of the most violent incidents to happen at an after-hours club. It was Leonte Berry, accused of shooting and killing Ozzy Whitford at the Capri Hookah Night Lounge. Moments later, Berry is then accused of shooting and killing security guard Julius Rodriguez. Out it all, party turns to pandemonium as bystanders scramble for cover. As you see here, some took refuge inside this club while others hunkered down in the parking lot. More than any other crime at an after-hours business, it was this one that caught the city of Seattle's attention.
This is about us taking action. This is about us creating a safe base in our city. And this is about us dealing with gun violence.
It's not gun violence. It's human on human violence. The weapon happens to be a gun. Go after the criminals. Go after the individuals. Don't worry about the guns. Bad guys are always going to have guns. Go after them. This whole notion of guns, nonsense. Don't go after the properties either. Go after the criminals. And if the owners are involved in criminal activity, okay. But there's nothing that I know of here that, screams out, this is a front for criminal activity. It just attracted a crowd that has a ton of criminals in it. How about we deal with we can't do that. The optics are not good. It's just not good.
In the aftermath of this case, Seattle city lawmakers passed strict new rules for late-night businesses, including a rule that they need to at least have 2 security staff members on hand, as well as having an overall safety plan. All of it as one of the victims.
What is your safety plan for when the shooting goes down? What's your safety plan? After 3 a.m., what are you going to be doing here to promote safety? You know what I mean? This is Seattle we're talking about. Cops aren't coming for a while. They're unless somebody gets shot, cops aren't coming for a while. That's just Seattle. We're understaffed. So this whole notion of, let's go after the properties. So all going after the properties. Well, let's finish out this video.
Whose family members said something needed to be done to prevent these types of cases from happening again.
They just like to pull a trigger and bam. They don't even care about their own life today. But to me, it's senseless.
Yep, it is senseless.
And as for the suspect in that specific case, the case against him, by the way, moving forward, he is currently charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. Coming from Seattle tonight, Ryan Sims, come on.
So let's extrapolate that for 1 second, right? We're going to watch another video here. But so you shut the property down. Do all those folks, 100 people, whatever it was there that were at the hookah lounge, do they all just, you know what? Guess we all got to go home now. Guess we just got to go home and, watch The Price is Right. We're going to watch Solid Gold on Channel 11 on Sundays now. That's what we're doing. Instead of going to the hookah lounge, that's what we're doing. It's as if you shut the venue down, those people disappear and they just don't show up anywhere else. They're going to show up somewhere else. And you know what? They're going to shoot somebody else somewhere else. So the only way to really get a handle on this is to go after who's doing the shooting, incarcerate them, make it known. You can't just run around and gangbang your way out of every single situation that you run into. He looked at my girl sideways. I'm going to shoot him. He stiffed me $10 on this dope deal. I'm going to shoot him. He got too close to my car. I'm going to shoot him. And that's the ridiculous stuff these people are doing because they can, because there's no accountability. You don't have anybody saying, hey, we got to go after the criminals here. We've got enough police, which we don't. So a lot of this is problematic on a long-term scale and a huge, issue scale. Just, this is bad. This is not good. Going after the properties? That's just, meh. Here we go. Let's watch this one.
Chronic nuisance property a little more than a week after 2 people were killed in a shooting there. Thanks for joining us here at 11. I'm Preston Phillips. The popular late-night spot in South Seattle's Rainier Beach is known as the Capri Hookah Lounge. Tonight, Police Chief Sean Barnes says the property owners need to make big changes in the coming days or face steep penalties. Couple Jackie Kent is there live tonight with what's next. Jackie?
And Preston, it was just over a week ago, police reported 2 people were gunned down in this parking lot right behind me, including the security guard who tried stopping the shooter. This is a tragedy impacting neighbors who are pleading with the city to try to keep it from happening again. The sign that once read Capri Bar and Restaurant has been taken down just over a week since a deadly double shooting in the parking lot. The only foot traffic near the Rainier Beach Hookah Lounge was for a food truck taking advantage of the empty lot. Hours earlier, Seattle Police Chief...
Jeez, could you imagine? Hey, let's go get a taco. Let's go to that one by the Hookah Lounge because, it should be pretty empty because they just had that double murder there. Let's go there. What kind of taco should I get? Maybe I'll get the quesadilla. I don't know. So many options. But yeah, let's go to the murder site. I mean, it's got to be safe, right? Yeah.
John Barnes declared the weekend late-night spot a chronic nuisance, which is a major relief for some neighbors.
It is
rough.
a crucial
Toast.
first step in addressing this very serious public safety problem.
Barnes in this letter gives the owner a week to respond with a plan to turn things around or face abatement, noting 5 reported incidents of shots fired here since June. Also, online records show the city attorney has charged the business owner with 2 counts of keeping liquor at a public place without a license.
Ooh. Shocker.
Between 2 and 5 a.m. serving alcohol, there is no permit to sell alcohol between 2 and 5 a.m.
Neighbor Erin Goodman is fed up with what she calls
run by gangsters for gangsters. It's Seattle. It's what we're doing. We let pimps do anything. Gang members, you betcha, shoot each other. I mean, we might prosecute you if we can, find you.
Repeat violence at this property and is working on legislation to boost citywide security measures for venues operating after 2 a.m. like this one.
You have to have a license, you have to have training, you have to have security, you have to have security systems, and you have to cooperate with law enforcement.
A way to ensure more accountability for businesses, offer more support for those who might not know the proper permit protocols, and give communities like this one more peace of mind.
It ain't about protocol.
And until Chief Barnes determines that this property right here is no longer a chronic nuisance, the owner faces a steep penalty of up to $500 a day. Now, as for that safety legislation, a public safety committee will be reviewing that tomorrow and will possibly leave it up for a vote in the morning. We'll keep you posted as soon as we learn more. For now, live in Rainier Beach, Jackie Kent, Come On News.
Public Safety Commission in Seattle. That's just an enormous circle jerk, isn't it? I mean... Gotta get to the main article here. All right, so let's talk about. So you target this property, owners give up the business. Let's say they're getting hammered on. They can't keep it going. It's not worth it. We had that double shooting. We had those other 4 or 5 instances of, gun violence. The left likes to call it, instead of human being on human being happen to be utilizing a gun as a weapon violence. That's too long. Nobody wants to say that. But let's say you toughen your stance on this property and you just hammer down on it. Well, now you've got a business that's out that you're not collecting taxes for, and you got a vacant property that becomes more of that urban blight. more of that urban blight, because now it's that, well, there's the building that hookah lounge that, a bunch of people got murdered on in the scene. Hey, come on down to this address. Hey, when I'm Googling your address, a bunch of news stories are coming up that said, people were murdered in your parking lot. Is that true? Yes, but we're a candle company now, so don't worry about the murder from the old hookah lounge. Oops, did I say too much? I don't think I was supposed to tell you that, but yeah, we're located in the site of a former murder because, it was a hookah lounge and they were doing all kinds of wacky shenanigans after 2 a.m. because that's what happens at a hookah lounge in Seattle. But don't worry, come on down, get your mango scented candle because we're all reformed now. We're all different now. Very difficult to get a business rolling with those types of obstacles. You know what I mean? Seattle mayor moves to toughen nuisance law targeting properties, not people shooting each other, targeting properties accused of attracting crime. It's standard stuff. It's don't go after the source of the problem. Don't take any responsibility for weak crime laws. Just blame it on the property. Oh yeah, that duplex over there. We gotta close that down. There's some people on there that is not good. Seattle's mayor wants to beef up the city's nuisance law that targets properties that attract crime. And you know what? If this were a one-off situation, or if this were a situation where the vast majority of the city is not laden with crime, the criminals just running around, just doing willy-nilly whatever shenanigans they want to. If that were the situation, okay, you've got your city handled. You've got the root cause of a lot of the criminal activity taken care of. And then if you had a couple of properties, all right, okay. If it's one-off type situations, no problem. But that's not what this is. This is going after a really misguided idea of what's going to, this isn't going to solve anything because those criminals, they just went elsewhere. They went to a different hookah lounge. Oh, let's shut that one down. Let's shut that one down. Let's shut that one down. You're playing a game of whack-a-mole again. That's all you're doing. Whack-a-mole. And you're blaming the properties and you're decimating your tax base as you do it. So nice job, Seattle. Keep going. Sure, it'll work out. Keep voting blue. The ordinance was used mostly against a Rainier Beach hookah lounge where 2 people were fatally shot in March. The owner shut the lounge down. Not a shocker. City's chronic nuisance properties ordinance empowers the police chief to send a notice to the owner of the property explaining why it's considered a nuisance. And you just send a bunch of Seattle Times articles in with the nuisance complaint. Yeah, you made the news 5 times because you had your customers were shooting each other, apparently. We're not sure what's up with that, but they were just, banging each other with guns. So, and requiring the owner to work with police to address the problems or face fines, including a potential $25,000 one-time penalty. Ooh. Yeah, these are businesses that run, a little bit sketchy, a little bit outside the law. There's always stuff going on. A hookah lounge? A hookah lounge. Just a bunch of hookahs. People go in there and smoke. I mean, it's not a shocker. You got people dealing drugs. You got prostitution. You got stolen goods. You got it all, right? And then, something happens in the parking lot. Shocker. Somebody whips out a gun that's probably stolen. Probably a ghost gun. It's probably got the serial numbers, filed off because the person who's handling the gun is a felon and they are going to shoot somebody else and they need a stolen gun to do it. How many times do you read in follow-up that's the case? A lot. Under the 2009 law, a property can be declared a nuisance if it's the scene of a repeated gun violence, assaults, drug trafficking, prostitution, gang or firearm-related violations. Seattle Mayor Bruce Harrell wants to add liquor violations, which would allow the city to crack down on after hours and other establishments that violate liquor laws. I don't have a problem cracking down on after-hours establishments, but the primary focus should be on those committing the crimes, and we are simply not doing that. Round a bunch of these bastards up and give them long jail sentences. We're not doing that. We're soft on crime. We got criminal drug dealers just running around shooting at cops. I did that one last week or the week before. Literally. And all these judges, we're going to let you out again. We know you've got 3 outstanding cases since you've been on probation, but we're not going to focus on that. We think that you could be a good human being. Therefore, we're going to let you out. Reduced bail from $100,000 to $5,000. You come up with $500, you're golden. Harrell is also proposing to add offenses that happen adjacent to a property or involve someone connected to the property. He said the cities of Tacoma and Spokane also have a high amount of crime. Tacoma better, Spokane also include off-property offenses in their nuisance laws. Harrell said the move would improve public safety. Don't believe that for 1 second, because these folks, it's like fentanyl addicts. Just because you bust one area of tents that you know has a bunch of drug dealers in it, they don't roll up their business and go home. I guess the cops really gave it to us today. We might as well close down. No, that doesn't happen. They just move elsewhere. It's whack-a-mole. So you're doing nothing there. Harrell said the move would improve public safety. Well, in the short term, immediately at that location, when it's shut down, you will not have any shootings. Okay. Are you going to shut down every single business in Seattle? Is that what you're going to do? Is that what you're going to do to handle this? Because eventually they're going to move somewhere else. They're going to have a shooting there. Are you going to shut that one down? You're just going to continually just shut them down all over Seattle? Yeah, probably, right? And that's how you end up with vacant, for lease, for sale, vacant, all over town. And people go, how do we get here? How do we get there? Well, so this legislation will allow the city to act decisively and effectively if property becomes a continued source of crime and disorder for the surrounding community. Because we all know it's the property's fault, isn't it? The property. It's the location of the property. It's the look of the building. It's the texture of the parking lot itself that determines whether somebody's going to come in there and shoot another human being with their stolen gun, with their ghost gun, with their serial numbers filed off stolen ghost gun. It's not even a thing. You know what I mean? Seattle Police Chief Sean Barnes echoed the mayor's statement, when our nightlife areas are safe, it fosters. Since when are nightlife areas ever really safe? I mean, if you wake up on a Sunday morning and you're up before like 9 and you get to that news, invariably there's some kind of wacky stuff going on Saturday night because people get a little looped up. They get a little high on their own supply, and they tend to go out and shoot other human beings. Maybe a light stabbing, maybe a baseball bat attack. You know, you got to keep it in. You got to keep it in concert with what's going on in the city. So when our nightlife areas are safe, which they never are, you wake up on Sunday morning and you realize, hey, I went to bed at 10. I feel pretty good. And these jokers out there, they're just running for their lives, trying not to get murdered because they're at a hookah lounge at 3 o'clock in the morning. So it fosters a stronger sense of community, attracts visitors, supports local businesses, and ultimately makes Seattle a more desirable place to work, live, and play for everyone. Oh, I feel so much better. Oh, I feel warm and fuzzy, Chief Barnes. You know what I mean? Go after the criminals. Incarcerate the criminals. Get them off the street. That's what'll make Seattle safer. But we're not doing that. We're not even close. We're just, let's shut down that business over there. That damn business, it attracts too many degenerates. Too many lowlifes. Harrell said the city has used the chronic nuisance property ordinance 17 times, gets motels, nightclubs, private residences, an apartment building, and a commercial event space. How about we do all of 3rd Avenue between Pike and Pine? What about we do that? Can we do that? It's a current chronic nuisance property, and that entire thing for the city of Seattle, somebody needs to do something. Because invariably, you're dealing dope on the street there. You got a bunch of miscreants there. You got a bunch of whacked out psychopaths doing drugs. And you know what? Let's be honest. We've had our fair share of stabbings and shootings and whatnot go on there. Why don't we just take that block and make it a nuisance property? And then it would just hold the city of Seattle accountable. Hey, you guys said you're cleaning it up and you're going to clean up. Here's this one joker. He's selling fentanyl. Can you come down and scoop him up and give him 10, 15 years? No, because we're not doing that. It's just ludicrous that that'd be happening. This is a big blue liberal state. We believe in justice reform, meaning let the criminals just roam around. Legislation to amend the current ordinance has been sent to the Seattle City Council Public Safety Committee for consideration at its meeting on June 24th. Hey guys, what do we think? Yeah, here's an earlier story right here. 5 injured in shooting at Seattle Hookah Lounge. Investigation underway. 5 injured. Then you got shooter boy killing 2 people. I mean, just in the early hours of Saturday morning, a shooting at the Hookah Lounge in China District left 5 individuals injured. Police received a call just before 3:50 a.m. A lot of times I'm waking up, maybe for the first time, maybe I'll go back to sleep. I'm waking up at 4 o'clock. Hey, what's going on? I am not at a hookah lounge scrounging around for my firearm at almost 4 o'clock in the morning. I am not doing that. A certain element is doing that, and it's not responsible human beings. And it just happens to be at this address because a business is being run there by a bunch of whacked out lunatics that consider this kind of activity kind of okay. Well, if they shut down this location, where can we commit our crimes? That's the thing, right? Yeah, they're just going to move somewhere else. So we got this shooting. This shooting was 5 people injured, but 3:50 in the morning. I mean, nothing good happens after like 10 o'clock, right? I don't even like to be out at 10:30. If I'm at a restaurant or something, yeah, but I'm winding down. I'm going home. I'm not going to be goofing around. So like this last weekend at in Seattle, we had the No Kings protest. People were all worked up. They were protesting against ICE. They were protesting against, they don't want any kings. They don't like kings. Don't like kings at all. Sacramento Kings, Gold State. Yeah. They don't like kings. What else do we have? Oh, no Nazis. They don't like Nazis. And no secret police. No secret police. None of that. Can't have any of that. 75,000 strong marched in Seattle. Nothing happened. The Democrats can't even give me a legit riot anymore. I was willing to live stream it. I would have been right there with your handy GoPro or your camera or whatever. Would have fed it right in. Instead, I'm left wandering around Cal Anderson Park. Well, there's where the garden was. I did that kind of live stream because the No Kings protest, they were all paid protesters and they all went home right after their time allotment was over. They walked from Cal Anderson Park at CHOP down to Seattle Center, and 75,000 of them. And that entire 1.5 mile route was filled with humanity, and they couldn't work up the nuts to commit one crime. No crimes. None. But the ridiculous thing is they were protesting against no kings, no Nazis, and no secret police, and a bunch of other stuff that was like, okay, all right. We're playing make-believe here, right? We're playing make-believe here. We're pretending that all these Republicans in charge right now are Nazis. Is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? We're pretending that the president is acting like a king. Got a crown on. Oh, he sits on a throne. So misguided. Just like Seattle leadership, go after the properties, don't go after the criminals. We know who the criminals are. Arrest their ass, prosecute them, incarcerate them. Rinse, repeat. That's how you make the city safer. Put laws on the books that impact the criminals, not the properties, not the property owners. I'm not saying they're in the right, and I'm not saying you shouldn't shut some of these down, but targeting the properties versus targeting the criminals, it just sends out that message that we love a good felon. We love a good felon with or without a firearm because, firearm safety. All right, so yet another podcast about bad decisions, not really getting to the fundamental cause of the root of the problem, which is you've got somebody running around in the early morning hours at a hookah lounge shooting other human beings. Find that person, incarcerate them for a long period of time, rinse, repeat, go after the gang element, go after people who are handling illegal guns, go after people who have, warrants for their arrest, go after people who are out on probation that have guns, go after all those folks. And if you do that consistently enough, which Seattle doesn't do because we don't have enough police manpower, then you won't have to worry about a bunch of nut jobs all convening at one place because there won't be enough of them to do that. But no, let's just, it's a nuisance property. You know, there's homes down in Portland that have had the same thing. You got a bunch of lunatics running around doing drugs and whatnot. Okay. I mean, it's pretty common. You got to do the same thing there. You got to be willing to drop the hammer on the criminals. And then at the same time, you're going to have some of these places where this just crime is overrun. So you push out the criminals and then you let, that property take care of itself. All this notion about, putting the hurt on the business owner. In this case, it worked because they shut it down, but it doesn't go after those folks that are breaking the law. It just doesn't do that. So that's it for me on this one. Thanks so much for being here. I'd love to have you subscribe, hit that notification bell, hit the like button if you like this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.